Never feel fear again. Secret to living without fear. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that fear no longer has a hold on you. Imagine stepping into every situation, every challenge, every opportunity with a sense of calm, clarity, and confidence. What would that feel like? What would your life look like? Stay with me because by the end of this, you'll have the key to making that vision a reality. Fear is something we've all felt. It's that tightening in your chest, that voice in your head whispering, "What if?" It's the shadow that creeps in when you're about to take a leap, when you're standing on the edge of something new. But what if I told you that fear is not what you think it is? What if I told you that fear is not a force outside of you, but something you can transform from within? And what if I told you that the wisdom of the ancients holds the secret to living without fear? Let's start with a truth that may surprise you. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is a signal, it's a messenger, it's a part of you that's trying to protect you, to keep you safe. But here's the thing, fear doesn't always tell the truth. Fear often whispers lies, exaggerates dangers, and keeps you small. And when you let fear take the wheel, it drives you away from the life you're meant to live. In the Netjer system, fear is seen as a distortion of Ra, the principle of manifestation. Ra is the energy that brings things into being, the force that moves life forward. But when this energy becomes tangled with attachment, with the need to control outcomes, fear is born. Fear arises when we resist the flow of life, when we cling to what we think we need, or when we try to shield ourselves from the unknown. But here's the secret, the unknown is not your enemy. The unknown is where all possibilities live. The unknown is where life happens. Think about a time when you felt completely fearless. Maybe it was a moment when you were so immersed in what you were doing that fear didn't even cross your mind. Or maybe it was a time when you faced something you thought you couldn't handle, and yet you did. What was different in those moments? What allowed you to step beyond fear? Hold on to that thought, because we're going to come back to it. The ancient Kemetians understood something profound about fear. They knew that fear is rooted in the illusion of separation. When you see yourself as separate from the whole, as isolated and alone, fear takes root. But when you align with Ma'at, the principle of truth, balance, and harmony, you remember that you are part of something greater. You remember that you are connected to the flow of life, to the eternal consciousness of Netjer. And in that remembrance, fear begins to dissolve. Let's explore this deeper. Fear thrives on the illusion of control. It tells you that you need to predict, to plan, to protect yourself from every possible outcome. But the truth is, control is an illusion. Life is not something you can control, it's something you can align with. When you align with Ma'at, you step into the natural order of things. You stop fighting the current and you start flowing with it. And in that flow, there is no room for fear. Now, I want you to imagine something. Imagine a moment when you felt completely at peace, a moment when you felt connected, grounded, and whole. Maybe it was a moment in nature, or a moment of stillness, or a moment when you were doing something you love. In that moment, fear had no place. Why? Because in that moment, you were aligned with Ma'at. You were in harmony with the flow of life. And that harmony is your natural state. The Netjer system teaches us that fear is a distortion, but it also teaches us how to return to balance. The key is awareness. When fear arises, instead of pushing it away or letting it take over, bring your awareness to it. Notice it, name it, see it for what it is. A wave passing through the ocean of your consciousness. You are not the wave. You are the ocean. You are the awareness that holds it all. Here's a practice you can use whenever fear arises. Take a deep breath, feel your feet on the ground, bring your attention to the present moment. Notice the fear, but don't judge it. Don't fight it. Just observe it. Ask yourself, what is this fear trying to tell me? Is it true? Does it align with Ma'at? Often you'll find that fear is based on a story about the past or the future, but the present moment is where truth lives. And in the present moment, you are safe, you are whole, you are free. As you practice this, you'll begin to see fear for what it is, a passing experience, not a permanent reality. You'll begin to see that fear is not who you are. Who you are is the awareness behind the fear. Who you are is the consciousness that holds it all. And that consciousness is infinite. It is unchanging. It is Netjer. Now let's take this a step further. Imagine what your life would look like if fear no longer held you back. Imagine the things you would do, the risks you would take, the dreams you would pursue. Imagine the relationships you would build, the opportunities you would embrace, the life you would create. Can you see it? Can you feel it? That life is not as far away as you think. That life is waiting for you on the other side of fear. The secret to living without fear is not to fight it, but to transform it, to see it for what it is, a signal, a messenger, a wave in the ocean of your being, and to remember that you are not the wave. You are the ocean. You are the awareness that holds it all. And when you align with Ma'at, when you live in harmony with truth and balance, fear loses its power. It becomes a whisper, not a roar. It becomes a guide, not a master. So, how do you start? You start by noticing, by bringing your awareness to the present moment, by questioning the stories fear tells you, by aligning your thoughts, your actions, and your intentions with Ma'at, and by trusting in the flow of life, in the infinite wisdom of Netjer. As you do this, you'll begin to see a shift. You'll begin to feel a sense of calm, of clarity, of confidence. You'll begin to see that fear is not something to be feared. It's something to be understood, to be transformed, to be transcended. And as you do this, you'll begin to live the life you were meant to live, a life of truth, of balance, of harmony, a life aligned with Ma'at. Now, I want to leave you with this thought. Fear is not the enemy. Fear is a teacher. And when you learn its lessons, when you see it for what it is, you reclaim your power. You step into the flow of life. You align with the truth of who you are. And in that alignment, there is no room for fear. There is only freedom. There is only peace. There is only Ma'at. So the next time fear arises, remember this: you are not the wave. You are the ocean. You are the awareness that holds it all. And in that awareness, you are free. You are fearless. You are whole. If this message resonates with you and you're ready to live a life of truth, balance, and harmony, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. By doing so, you'll not only stay connected to more insights like this, but you'll also help spread these timeless teachings to others who need them. Let's walk this path together, one step closer to Ma'at.